Welcome to AP2, everybody. There's a lot to learn in this section as well. Those of you who has not been with me, my name is Dr. Al. I am a chiropractor, and I've been teaching. I think this is my third year, but first time doing it online. So if there's anything you don't understand, please stop me during lab and then get with me, and I will go over it with you again. But yeah, so the lecture is it's online, and I don't have any writing materials or anything like that to show you on the board. But if anything, we can go over it in lab. Okay, let's get started. So first thing we're going to learn about this chapter is on the endocrine system. If I can lower this on the endocrine system. So as you remember, the body always try to get becomes homeostasis again, which is getting it back to normal. Okay, how's it maintained? Is using negative feedback. Those of you who don't remember negative feedback, is when the body try to try to bring everything back to homeostasis. And remember, there's a positive feedback where, like pregnancy or blood clot or whatever, it will enhance the effect, making it more dramatic, so that when it's time to give birth, it will squeeze the baby out and things like that. Okay, so first thing today, again, we're going to learn the endocrine system. So when it comes to quick response, the nervous system is very quick. Okay, so endocrine system is a type of communication as well, but it is a slow response. Okay, here we have a table showing the difference between endocrine and the nervous system. So signaling mechanism, it could be chemical, but the nervous system, it could be chemical or electrical. You remember, it uses acetylcholine as one of the chemical neurotransmitter. So one of the things that you hear a lot are hormones. Okay, those are all come from the endocrine. Distance travel. This one is very long, or it could be short. It could be a neighboring cell. We don't learn that. Respond. It could be fast or slow. And the environment always target internal. And this is the opposite. Well, not opposite, but this is versus the nervous system. Same thing. The main goal. Your body's always trying to maintain homeostasis. So there are several glands in your body that we need to know. Some of the main glands are the pituitary gland, which is in your brain, right there. Pineal gland, okay, thyroid gland, adrenal gland on top of the kidneys, okay, pancreas. Other glands we're going to learn as well in the reproductive parts. Okay. So endocrine, exocrine glands are glands that you secrete things outside. Endocrine is inside. Okay, so everything will be secreted inside, and the target cells are inside. Okay. Endocrine, again, back to AP1. Endocrine is more ductless, okay? And exocrine has ducts, if you recall from AP1. Crine, it just means secrete, okay? So endo is inside, secrete inside, exo is outside again. Chemical messengers, there are different ways. Autocrine, okay, actually do it. It secretes by itself, for itself. Paracrine is for a nearby cell. Okay, paracrine. Okay, and this could be farther away. Okay, this is farther away. This one is neighboring, very close, and this one is on their own. So paracrine is nearby, autocrine is self. Hormones. Non-steroidal hormones and steroidal hormone. So all you have to remember is the non-steroidal hormone. It comes from peptide, proteins, amine groups. The steroidal hormones, okay, all comes from lipid, okay, fats, okay, all derived from cholesterol, which is fat, okay, include testosterone, estrogen, androgen, aldosterone, and cortisol. Bonus material. Next two slide if you want to know. I think we did this in AP1 already. Let's see where we are. Okay, so the bonus material, this one is the receptor is in the cells, and this one, the receptor is just showing it's on the cell membrane. Okay. Regulation of hormones. So there's a feedback loop. Okay. If you have too much hormones, the body will then go into negative feedback. Okay. When you stop, when you have enough hormone, your body will stop. We learned that with the calcium and the bone, calcitonin and all that. Okay. But we have to revisit some of these in this chapter today. So the main point again is to balance, balancing production, and if there's too much, when it's done, everything will be reuptake again. Okay. So here it is. There's an imbalance, then the hormones release. The correction comes with the negative feedback, and then going back to homeostasis. Hormones are degraded in the liver and excreted by the kidneys. So this is when you destruction and feed and reabsorb some of the useful things. How do endocrine glands get stimulated? Humoral. Humoral is changes in the blood level of non-hormonal chemicals. Okay, causes the endocrine to secrete. So in your blood, there are receptors that senses all these things. Hormonal stimuli, hormone level changes, and this causes different endocrine gland to secrete hormones, often involve the hypothalamus, which has releasing and inhibiting hormones. So the gland itself, okay, will secrete and release or stop the hormone production. Okay. And neural, nerve tissue, respond to changes. Okay, stimulated by the endocrine gland, whether to secrete or not. So let's start. Okay, this is where I'm going to start with the hypothalamus. The main thing here is the pituitary gland. Okay, pituitary gland. So pituitary gland, remember where it sits on in the AP1? It sits on the bone. This little section called the sella turcica. Sella turcica. The pituitary gland is divided into two sections. Okay, anterior pituitary, which is in the front, facing the front. Posterior pituitary, which is in the back. Now, it is dangled by a little guy called the infundibulum. Okay, so let's see. Here's another one. Here is the anterior and posterior pituitary, and the dangling part is the infundibulum. Okay. Pituitary is controlled by the hypothalamus, which is right here in this. This is the. Remember we did this whole section. Okay, thalamus, hypothalamus. Okay, the eye-looking thing, and the corpus callosum. Anterior pituitary gland is glandular. Okay, and posterior pituitary gland is neural. We're gonna see what that means in a minute. one thing I want to add, the humoral part. Remember we talked about changing in blood. It could be because, let's say right after a big dessert, then you have a lot of blood, sugar in your blood. Okay, that's a change in the blood, and then your body will stimulate certain hormones. And another hormones, we're going to see this in the hormonal part, is when another hormone tell it to release or inhibit another hormone. So, yeah, you're going to learn that. Okay. So these are all the hormones that you guys need to study and remember. Okay. We're going to study all of them from the anterior to the posterior. So it may look like there's a lot, but is not really that much. Okay. Okay. One thing to remember, the posterior pituitary gland, you remember I told you it is neuronal. Okay. Because it doesn't really produce hormones. It stores it. Okay. Whenever it needs it, then the nerve will tell it, and then it will release it. Okay. Hypothalamus will release it. Okay. So there's only two hormones in the back. Which is oxytocin and ADH. Okay. So just remember these two, and then the rest will be in the anterior portion. Okay. Oxytocin, we saw this in AP1. Stimulate uterus to contract. This is when a positive feedback comes in. Oxytocin will be released, and then more will be released so that the uterus will contract, so the baby will be squeezed out. Okay. ADH, this we see a lot. We will see a lot of this one as well when we get to the kidney section in the back of AP2. This one is very important, so you'll see it a lot. It stimulates kidney to reabsorb water. Okay. When you don't have enough water in your body feels dehydrated, ADH will be released so that your kidney will absorb more water. So ADH is called anti-diuretic hormones. Okay. So against diuretic, it's like peeing it out. Okay. Anti-diuretic hormones. So let's say you go to a party, you drink a lot. Okay. You pee a lot. Okay. The next day you wake up with, big headache. It's because, alcohol inhibits this thing. Okay. So it doesn't absorb the water, and then you pee it all out, and then you get dehydrated, and you get a hangover headache. Okay. And I think we're going to look at every one of these guys. All right. So posterior pituitary hormones are synthesized in the hypothalamus. It's stored here. Antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. We already saw that. Okay. So here's the anterior pituitary. Here's the posterior pituitary. Oxytocin. I told you is a positive feedback. Okay. Target the smooth muscle of the uterus and alveolar duct.